well, okay, who got the ideas? Angels and spirits began to throw all these different spirits out. And they said, then this one spirit came and stood before the Lord and said, I can do it. And the Lord said, how? He said, listen, I'm going to go out, and there's 400 of these men that this man rely upon before he does anything. I'm going to go out, this one spirit, show you how powerful these spirits are. This one spirit was going to go out and do what? And be a spirit and be a lying tongue. When it said lying tongue, meaning this spirit was going to go out and give these 400 prophets false visions, so that they would come back. The spirits are only going to, the prophets are only going to report what they see. They're only going to give account or tell or convey a message based on the vision that they got. So they're showing you that was the vision that they got, and the vision was authentic because the spirit was sent from the Most High to give those 400 men a vision that they would go back and give and tell the king, so the king would be convinced to go to war so that he could lose like the Most High wanted him to. Now, like I said, you haven't heard the word heaven mentioned once in this verse or in this entire account. But the point is, when you read the scriptures and you read about heaven, this is proof that there's a dynamic. In other words, just like we read about the Lord's sword being bathed in heaven, and then it said it was coming down upon Idumea, which was a Greek and Roman way, or Greek and Roman form of saying Edom, who is the so-called white man today. You understand? So the whole point is, this is taking place in that spiritual realm. So when you and I read the Bible, and when Christian people read the Bible, and they hear this term heaven, automatically they think of what? They think of that place. They think of this realm that we're reading about now. But what we're showing you is that in the scriptures, every time you read the word heaven, it's not always referring to, quote, that spiritual realm. Much of the time, in fact, most of the time, especially concerning the New Testament, it's always talking about what's going to take place in the realm of men, in a specified kingdom, in a specified area. All right. I'm going to read verse 21 again. And he said, this spirit, I'm going to start at verse 20 again. Then there came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice you. I'm going to start again. Verse 20. We already classed on it, so I can say this. Oh, you see Satan is messing with Amiyakazam, you can hear it. Messing with Amiyakazam, the camera, he ain't even speaking. He got me back here, 2 millimeters from me. My nose, having a runny nose and sneezing and everything. So just so that you understand that this is actually taking place in the spiritual realm to see if we can get me and Amiyakazam to hold off until we quote physically feel better. But we ain't going to do that. We sit up here reading the dynamic. We understand what takes place in the spiritual realm. And so we just got to fight through this to get you this DVD. I'm explaining to you why you hear coughing in the background and you don't see nobody on it. That's because Yakazai's got the camera today. You always see me up here sneezing and everything. And so just bear with us, brother. We're trying to get you this knowledge, all right? We're going to pick it up from verse 20 again. 2 Chronicles chapter 18 and verse 20. Then there came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. In other words, the spirit, it shows you it's in the spiritual realm because it was a spirit and it stood before the Lord. Heaven being the Lord's throne, right? And said, I will entice him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Lord said, it's like he said, I like that. Now that's creative. And the Lord said, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Then you're going to convince him. Go out and do even so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit. Listen to this. The Lord, this is verse 22. 2 Chronicles chapter 18, verse 22. Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil against thee. So the whole point is this, brother. That is another account of things that take place in the spiritual realm. And like I said, a lot of times when you read in the New, all throughout the Bible, I shouldn't say only the New Testament, but when you read throughout the scriptures about heaven, you got to understand and which one is it referring to. You understand? Like, for instance, there's a scripture when you read, I'm going to show you something else. Now we're going to go to Matthew 24. That's kind of, I'm going to show you some of the, this Matthew 24 is for the most part talking about the, it is talking about the dynamic, the signs that we can look for when it's time for, quote, this world to fall. Like it says in Matthew chapter 24. I'm going to read Matthew chapter 24 and verse 1, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Chapter 24, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 1, and it reads, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3, alright? And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Now, we're not backtracking on the world. What I'm going to try to show you is there's some verses that Christ said concerning heaven, that there will be signs that will be taking place in heaven that we can use to determine how soon his second coming was. And those signs in heaven are not talking about the sky only. Most of them is talking about here on earth. And that's what I'm going to get for you real quick. I'm just using the concordance to go right to the verse that I want to hit you with. All right? And you've been seeing this in the news also. I'm going to show you. Hold on. I don't want to give it away. I just want to go right to it. All right. Right. So we're going to go to Matthew chapter 24, and we're going to start at about verse 29. All right. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. When it says the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light, we're already in those times. But people don't understand what it's talking about. Now, if you understand what it's talking about, listen, in order to understand what that's talking about, we went over that in Joel chapter 2. Where at the end of verses 28 through 32, where it talked about the signs, and it said the sun should be darkened and the moon will be blood, because it's talking about the columns and the pillars of smoke. So those are signs. No, it's talking about warfare and bombs being dropped in certain places where you can't, literally in the daytime, you can't see the sun from the smoke. That's taking place right now in Afghanistan. It's taking place right now in Iraq. It's taking place right now in Pakistan. And it's on the verge of taking place right now in Iran. Okay? Then I'm going to read on down. It says, and the moon shall not give her light. Here's the one that I want to tell you about. And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Now when it says the stars shall fall from heaven, people think that you're really going to have a star fall from the sky. What that's talking about is in this realm of heaven, listen, this heaven is going back to the realm of men. Now I'm going to show you something. In every occupation, for the most part, there are, or I should say many, especially in the world or the realm of entertainment. Those noted individuals in entertainment are referred to as stars. Back in the 70s and 80s, or I guess it was actually the 80s, late 80s, maybe early 80s, they had a program that's the equivalent of today's American Idol. It was called Star Search. And that was where people came from all over the United States and wherever else as contestants on this show, as singers and bands, so that they could get a contract. And the winner of those contests, went on to become one.